I'm going to go over question number 4 off of the review. There's a question just like this on your test, they're very similar. You have all of the knowledge and ability to do this question, but you haven't ever really seen it in a word problem, so I want to make sure you understand what to do with what you're given, just so you can see it. There is one like this on your test, so make sure you understand the concept so that you can do the one on your test tomorrow, okay? So this is the function representing the height in feet, h of t, of a projectile from the ground as a function of time t in seconds is shown below. A projectile is something that's shot. So basically what we have going on is we have a graph. Something was shot from the ground level, so the x-axis is like the ground. Something was shot from the ground. Oh, not like that. It was shot, and then gravity eventually brought it back down to the ground, okay? So we have a projectile that started on the ground, came back to the ground, okay? The equation that fits this parabola is h of t equals negative 16 times t minus 3 squared plus 400. We want to know how long it will take the projectile to hit the ground. Okay, the ground level is a height. So the ground is a height, and we are using h of t to represent the height. Okay, if I'm on the ground, then the height at that location is 0. I am 0 feet above the ground. So we're going to take the equation we have, we're going to replace h of t with 0, and then rewrite negative 16 t minus 3 squared plus 400. Okay, now here's a hint. The one on your test doesn't say the ground. The one on your test says like 90 feet. So if 90 is the height, you would put 90 in place of h. If I tell you the height is 8, then you put h in place of h. We have a height of 0. So we replaced h with 0, okay? Now, there is a way to solve this, but I haven't quite taught you all of the ins and outs of solving this particular equation that you have left now. So instead, we're going to use the answer choices to help us. And that's a really good skill to have, especially when you take like an SAT or any other multiple choice test, is to be able to use the answer choices. So the answer choice is giving us 256 seconds, 3 seconds, 8 seconds, 400 seconds. Well, seconds is time. So we're going to take those answer choices and we're going to plug them in for t and see which one gives me 0 out. So when you plug in the number for t, you want to know which one gives you 0 after you simplify it all. So if we test answer choice A, 0 needs to equal negative 16. Instead of t, I have 256 minus 3 squared plus 400. Okay? So negative 16, 256 minus 3 is 253 squared plus 400. Do the squared next. So 253 squared. So negative 16, 253 squared is 64,009 plus 400. So now you're going to do negative 16 times 64,000 plus 400. That is never going to give us 0. That number is way too big. Okay, so A is not the answer. All right, next. We're going to test answer choice B. So if I test answer choice B, then I have, okay, so answer choice B, we've got 0 is our new height, right? Equals negative 16, 256, oh, not 256, that's the number we're replacing. T is now 3 minus 3 squared plus 400. So negative 16 times 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 squared is 0. 0 plus 400. So I have 0 equals 400. Well, that's not true. So B is not correct. Okay, so now let's test answer choice C. H of t is 0 equals negative 16. Instead of t, we're using 8 minus 3 squared plus 400. So negative 16 times 8 minus 3 is 5 squared plus 400. So negative 16 times 5 squared is 25. Negative 16 times 25 is negative 400. So now I have 0 equals negative 400 plus 400 is 0. So I know that that is the time that made that height possible. So again, just to review, my height is 0. So that gave me that, so I plugged it in. And then I used all the answer choices to plug in for t to see which one would make it the same. Okay? So when you're given the height, plug that number in for h, and then test your answer choices to see which one works. C gave me a true statement, so C is the answer.